Hi there, Joel Sweeney here. Today's tip is the communication model. I created the concept of the communication model to help us understand the dynamics of speaking, whether that's one-on-one or one-on-1,000. My communication model consists of 5 things. 4 of them are the cornerstone, and the 5th is kind of an overarching component to it. Important to keep in mind that this is a snapshot in time, because true communication is a toggling process back and forth. So given that this is a snapshot in time, what these 2 individuals represent are the sender and receiver. So we have our sender, we have our receiver. The sender is sending out a message. Now it's important that the sender ensure that the message is accurate. The receiver has responsibility for taking the message and processing it. Once they have processed it, they provide feedback. That feedback may be verbal feedback, or it may be nonverbal feedback. Now it's important that the sender at this point picks up on that feedback, and important that it's interpreted correctly. So basically what the sender is trying to do once they receive the feedback is ensure that the message sent was the message received. So these are the 4 cornerstones, I'll call them. And if it was a perfect world, the communication would be bang on and accurate. But it is not a perfect world. In reality, there are all kinds of things that can impact on the communication being as effective as it can be. There are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of things to consider. And just to give you an example, I've provided 8 here. Could be attitude, could be lack of trust between the individuals. That's going to impact how the messages get processed. Maybe there's an impatience, need to go somewhere else or need to be somewhere else. Something that happened entirely outside the communication, not even related to it, but is impacting upon it because the individual is distracted. Maybe wants to be somewhere else. Maybe there is an actual distraction behind the individual. Could be climate, could be temperature, could be environmental. And lastly, it might be something simple as envious of the other person. So this is just a small sampling, but suffice to say, there are a lot of different things that can impact on the communication process. So I like to put a label on this, and so I call this noise. These are noise factors. Noise factors are anything that can impact negatively on the communication. So it's really important that we try to identify those noise factors and, where possible, manage them. So I call it the concept of managing the noise. So if we can identify those factors in advance, well, that's to our benefit. Now, some of them may be, if you're a presenter, the layout of the room. Maybe the room is not laid out suitably for you. If you have an opportunity to effect a change on that, then by all means do so. Maybe the seats are bolted to the floor and you don't have the option of moving chairs around, but you do have the option of bringing people forward by cordoning off, say, the back rows so that people can't sit there. So that looking at the situation, whatever it is, I use that one as an example, but literally all kinds of possibilities when you think about it. So it's about identifying the noise and managing it where possible. Now, sometimes noise can occur while we're speaking or while we're presenting. If we give thought in advance to what those things might be, then we're not caught by surprise as much when they actually occur. And in a good scenario, we actually know we have a plan of attack in terms of how we're going to act on that. But if we don't, we at least don't have that surprise factor kicking in the same way. So really it's about thinking about the noise, identifying the factors that may come into play, and where possible, manage that noise. That's your tip for the day. Thanks a lot.